We're trying to expand globally. Long curly hair and a beard, but he ain't Toby Keith. You might have thought it's beef, but we gon' handle that. Stealing jerseys off of the wall like fuck Vanderjack. Okay, he ran with that, and now he's on the loose. Put a little bit of poison in his Jamba Juice. Go ahead and drink on that, just take another sip. Need an appraisal, shout out to Ron Huff and Dick. The kids loving this, I know you heard it, son. The purpose is perfect, every person we learn something from. Go ahead and come along, we have a little fun. A few questions, how about 31?
31, it's time for a 31. We're on the road today, out of the Content Factory, and coming to you, I always say live from the green room, but it's not live from the green room, because who knows, you might listen to this in 2020. I mean, who knows? I have no idea. But I'm here in the green room. A couple quick shout-outs. It's Christmas week. I just want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening to the pod. Thank you for subscribing, rating, review. Those of you that joined the Patreon, thank you. The newest thing I'd ask if you can is follow us at the 31 podcast on Instagram. My man Tone is putting up these dope little clips, so if you want to tag somebody or share it with somebody, a bunch of the Craigslist Chaos calls, some of the vintage old interviews, just a bunch of cool stuff. So hopefully trying to have this thing keep growing and growing. You know, the bigger it gets, the bigger guests we'll be able to get, and I just love doing it, and I hope you guys are having fun listening. It means, you know, I've gotten so many messages just saying that I'm making their work better, their drive better, their workout, or any of that, and that always just feels good to, you know that you guys are having fun. So 2020, we're just going more. You think we finished strong this year, we're going harder and harder next year. So I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody, and tell you that I really appreciate the constant support, helping me chase these stupid-ass dreams. Just a little kid from Wyoming out here doing shit I never dreamed of, and I owe it to you guys because you guys keep me going. So enough of that nonsense. That's it. I'm here early, set up, ready to rock and roll. I'll introduce you to my guest as soon as he gets here, which will be any second now. And we are back. I was gone for like 7 hours. I know it felt like that to you guys, or maybe it was 2 seconds, but I'm very happy. My guest is here. You have seen him on Comedy Central. He won Last Comic Standing, the 5th season?
Yeah, season 5.
And he tours all over the country, and he is a staff favorite here. The staff is so happy that you're here.
Really?
They were like, they came in already. Oh, I should introduce you. It's Jon Reep is my guest.
Oh, hey. Yes. Hi, everybody.
But
thanks, buddy.
They were like, you got to see his closer, do the song. And then they were like, we all requested to work once we saw him on the schedule. I was like, that's always
kidding.
cool. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know I had that rep here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well,
I do kind of like when you're headlining, you got to deal with the check drop.
Yeah.
And so over the years, I've had to come up with something to do while they're not really listening to me. And so during that time, while they're doing math in their head, trying to figure out the tip, I come up with a thing where I pretend that I have to say, like it's in my contract. This is not in my contract. But I pretend, I go like, well, I have to say this. I might as well do it now while you're doing math. And it's in my contract. I signed the thing. I got to say it 3 times. Don't forget to tip your wait staff. Like I say it 3 times. Like I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it. And so it gets in their heads. And I think maybe that's why they like me.
Nah, they were just like, he's just so sweet. Well, and you have a podcast called Countryish.
Yes.
So, and that you can get that anywhere, right?
Yeah. What's your podcast on? Where do you?
I do. Mine's on Apple, SoundCloud, all
thing.
that. Yeah.
So I'm on Apple as well.
I put it anywhere I can, but then about once a month, somebody will be like, "Hey, how come your podcast isn't here?" I'm like, "All right, we'll try to get it there."
What I did is I went to. We were on so many things like Apple, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, like all of it except for. I said Stitcher, but I take it back. Everything except Stitcher and SoundCloud. But what I've done is I made a website, johnreep.com/podcast, and we've got the the audio player, and then right below that's the YouTube link as well.
Yeah, because you're doing video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I'm hoping to do next year.
Yeah.
People seem to love it.
I got really lucky. So I don't know if the last time I talked, how long ago
It's been a while.
It's been over a year.
Since you were here, probably, yeah.
Well, since then, my dad had a stroke.
Yeah.
And I sold my condo in L.A. and moved back home to Hickory.
I think you were moving back to Hickory, right? Or you were in the process of
yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
That's what. So I've been thinking about it. And
Yeah.
this was the nail in the coffin, my dad having a stroke. I'm like, well, crap. So I moved back home, and I now live in the exact same room I grew up in.
That's awesome.
It's really weird. My mom is my roommate, and my dad is in a skilled nursing facility. So I went home to take care of that situation. But while I was there, I'm like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
I feel like I just left L.A. and I'm just going to float out here in the abyss, and no one's going to ever find me again. But I had a buddy named, and this is weird, his name is Alan Jackson, like the country singer. I mean, he's been getting that his whole life.
Yeah.
But he happens to have his own podcast network and video production company and all this stuff in Hickory.
Yeah.
And I went to him. I was like, dude, I got this podcast. If you ever want to do anything, he said, yeah, let's do it. So we partnered up, and I got, I'm basically being able to use his studio for free, with all these cameras. I got really lucky with that.
That's
guy.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of it sucks that your dad had a stroke, but in some weird way, it's weird.
Yeah.
I had this weird moment the other day. I was just alone in Vegas. I was there for a week, and I was just exhausted. And then I started to just think back on stuff, and I was like, man, such little things would have went different. My whole life would have been so different.
It's so true. And I had been thinking about leaving L.A. anyway.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are leaving L.A.
Well, I was the best thing I ever did. I was there for 8 years, and I could not be happier not going there.
I'm not just saying that because you're saying it.
Yeah.
I am, despite the stroke, everything else
Yeah.
is 100% better in my life. Like, I am so more happy. I actually really did miss my family.
Yeah.
A lot of comedians make fun of their family, like, oh, my dad's stupid or whatever. And I make fun of them, but I actually love them, and I missed them. And so that was a blessing in disguise. Being able to see them again, being around them, and even my friends and high school buddies. That I'm rekindling them.
That was the best part for me is like, and I loved LA, and I learned a lot there, and I get it. And I have friends, comedy friends, but like here, I go to my friends' kids' soccer games. We have barbecues. I'll go to the Bronco game. I had more of a real life,
right?
Which I just didn't have in LA. The only thing I really miss about LA is the weather.
I miss the weather, but even that, honestly, it got to be monotonous. I mean, just one thing all the time. Come on in. And it was, I like seasons.
Yeah.
I really do. And Hickory gets all 4 of the seasons.
Yeah.
Really cool. We get all 4 of them, and it's great. So, but I'm with you. Like doing normal things.
Yeah.
Like going to my brother's kids' games and that kind of stuff.
Well, and with travel, I mean, Hickory's much further than here, but and I wasn't doing shit in LA anyway, but then I was telling people, if you need me, I could be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not, if there's something, but they never need me, but if they did, I can be there.
I almost didn't even want to make an announcement.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's
a lot of
who
people.
even fucking knows?
Yeah, well.
You can live anywhere.
Yeah.
We're nomads, dude. We travel.
Well, even when I lived there, I spent most of the time on the road just trying to pay my rent there. But But I mean, like Brett Ernst left. I talked to him. He was in Ohio, just happy as can be.
Okay, John Heffron left.
Yeah, Heffron came through. He said the same thing. So.
Lots of guys left.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Rogan keeps talking about leaving.
Yeah.
And so does Adam Carolla.
Yeah. Well,
both of them hate LA.
They both could easily what they're doing.
But I don't, the industry's changed so much that I don't think you even need to be there anymore. I mean, especially if you've already got your foot in the door, like with a manager and agent, if you're already kind of established. I mean, maybe you go out there for pilot season, maybe you go out there for big auditions, but other than that, I don't think you have to live there anymore. A lot of the parts I've gotten successfully have been me taping myself in a hotel room.
Yeah, and just sending it off. Yeah. Well, and I say it all the time. It's a podcast world, man. If you and you can do those anywhere. You just a testament to that you're doing it from Hickory.
Yeah, I wish I would have kept it up. Like I started and stopped like 3 of them.
Same thing I did.
And I get frustrated. I go like, nobody's listening to this. There's a lot of work for nothing. And God,
but that's the biggest mistake. I tell people when they ask for advice, they go, "Should I do it?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "Everyone has one." I go, "Okay, we'll try to find something different, but be consistent."
Yeah,
because if you fall off, everybody does do it, and they'll just find someone else.
How often do you do one?
I'm doing almost every day now.
That's
just because I have it at my house.
Yep.
And that was the key to the house was doing the phone call.
Okay.
So like it's great. I reached out to you. I was like, and you're sweet and said, yeah, of course. But some people just don't want it, which I get when you're on the road. So the main thing I wanted was a phone. Yes. So even like if I want to do one with you again in 3 months, I can just call you.
Yeah, you could plug it right on that Zoom.
Do like 20 minutes and then. But I've been doing a thing. I do this Craigslist chaos where I just get on Craigslist.
Okay.
And I just float around and I put in the search bar, like I'd go to Hickory and just put in the search bar, call me, and anybody that put their phone number. Whatever they're trying to sell or whatever they're trying to do, I just talk to them and fuck with them. And there's like scams, and then there's.
So they call you?
No, I call them. So if they put their number, like let's say.
So they give you their number, which means you're allowed to.
They'll post it on Craigslist.
Okay, so I think that's smart because doesn't that mean you
can
do what you want with that phone call?
I don't know. People have told me there's certain states I shouldn't call.
Right.
But I figure that's like one of those things like. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Right. If I'm successful enough,
if it's a problem, then you've done something.
But people are like, they'll sue you. Like, sue me for what? The microphone. I'm a comedian. I have no money.
You gave me your number.
Yeah, and they post it. So that's been fun for me. And then I do one with my girlfriend, and just convincing my girlfriend. So we moved in together in September, and instead of having a spare bedroom, we just made a podcast studio. So.
And what? So the studio consists of like the mic stands. And all that
So I got a mic stand, a big soundboard, a computer.
Did you put the foam in the walls? And all that stuff?
Well, I haven't done foam yet because it's pretty good, but just the key to mine is just the phone because like I can do the Craigslist chaos whenever I want. So if I'm sitting around feeling antsy, like all right, we got to work on something, I'll just go down there and record it, and then if it's no good, I can just trash it. But it's usually, people, they just give me content. So
that's smart, and that's good. And that's kind of why, why I stopped them so many times because I didn't have something that was easy to do all the time. I had to learn it. I didn't want to have to take the time to learn it and then it fail.
Yeah.
And then, so that I got frustrated a lot and stopped a lot. But now the one I have now, it's this guy Alan Jackson's One-Stop Shopping. He just does it all for me. So I got very lucky with that dude. But we have some segments I think you might like.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
We do this one called Goodwill Hunting. So I got a buddy. You'll love this. Man. I got a buddy, a high school friend of mine, and you know how like your friends are sometimes funnier than any comedian that you know. So I got a buddy named Mark Hunt, and he looks like he could be John Stamos' brother. Like he's a good-looking
poor
dude.
Guy.
Yeah, no, he's a good-looking dude, but he just got divorced, so he's kind of down on his luck. He had to move out of the house. He's in a shitty little one-bedroom apartment, and I had him on the podcast. He's a regular on there, and we do a segment called Goodwill Hunting, and we will go to a Goodwill, and I will buy a gift for him. And he'll buy a gift for me. We don't get to see what it is until we exchange it on the show, but it's got to be $5 and under, and it has to make sense as to why I got that gift for him and vice versa. So the hard part sometimes is trying to make it make sense.
Yeah.
So we're doing like a little improv game, and it's also like an unboxing thing.
Yeah.
It's very good for YouTube.
I love it. Yeah. It's like I watched that American Picker show all day.
Right.
I like those guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
And that's the one thing that's made the road better for me is I like to find like an antique mall or I like to just go around, and I think I'm very nostalgic. So a lot of times in like a Goodwill or something, I'd be like, oh, I had that as a kid, or this shirt, or that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. The crazy stuff you see, like, so because he's a ladies' man, and I found this. You've ever heard of the ancient like Oriental cupping thing where they put these suction cups and it sucks the blood? So I bought that for him because I know he likes to get sucked off. So I had to make it make sense. But I had him take his shirt off. The ladies love it because it looks like a Stamos shirt with Stamos. And then we do it's like a small town news segment. And I do so when I moved back home, my mother was making room for me to moving some stuff around, and I found my old high school journals from age 17 to 18. For like about 2 years, 16, 18. And I just read them. Sometimes I would write poems, and sometimes I just write about my day. But it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so what I do now is I will read it on the show. It's called John's Journal. I'll read it, and you get to see what I was thinking. Like in my high school year, my senior year, we lost every game. We played at football, and it was disastrous for me. I mean, I was heartbroken. My girlfriend broke up with me, and so I read it. My friends make fun of me. And if it's a poem, sometimes I didn't finish the poem. I didn't have time to finish it.
Yeah.
So I'll have the listeners write in their
awesome.
their suggested how it should end.
Well, so it's not that guest driven. See, that's what I'm always going for, is where I don't have to count on the guests, because that's what would always derail my progress. Is like someone would be like, hey, and then when you're asking people to do a favor, when they cancel last minute, I can't get mad. Like if you said tonight, hey, I can't do it, something came up, I could never be mad at you because you're giving your time.
It's frustrating. That's another reason I stopped a couple times, because like I don't want to track people down and make them come to my room and do all this crap. No, I didn't want to be guest driven. I wanted people to fall in love with my high school buddies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, and if it's one of those things, if you listen to it more than 3 times, I think I can hook you.
That's awesome. Well, you guys know what to do. Go find it, rate it, review it, subscribe.
Please.
Listen to it. Well, this is a perfect lead into my first question. Where are you from, and where's the best place to eat in your hometown?
Ooh, okay. I am from Hickory, North Carolina. It's about an hour north of Charlotte. It's in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. It used to be kind of famous. It was once the furniture capital of the world, home to Winston Cup champion Dale Jarrett. Eric Church is from there. Madison Bumgarner, the baseball guy's from there, and the pig from Green Acres.
All
from Hickory.
What's the population?
Well, it depends on what you count. If you count like the whole like MSP, whatever they call it, the whole it could be like 100,000.
Oh, really?
I make it sound tiny in my act.
Yeah.
But I'm really, when I talk about Hickory, I'm talking about my little suburb of it called Mountain View, and that's probably 30,000 or something like that. But yeah, it's where I grew up, and it's getting bigger and bigger because it's an hour from Charlotte, and the bigger Charlotte gets, the more people are flooding out of that and coming to Hickory. Yeah. So it's getting bigger. But the best place to eat, wow, let's see here. Well, there's a really good restaurant called Fork, and they've got it's really kind of like good fine dining. But if you want barbecue,
what was the first place you ate when you came home?
The first place I ate when I came home.
Is there something you're like, I'm back in Hickory?
It's going to sound lame because you can get it anywhere.
What?
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing. When I lived in L.A., we didn't have it for the longest time.
Yeah.
They just opened one a couple, 3, 4, 5 years ago in Hollywood. But I grew up loving it.
Yeah. And then when we were in L.A., you weren't supposed to eat it anyway.
Right.
I lived like 3 blocks from it, and we were like, oh, we're not allowed to eat here for like 2 years. Then my gay friend's like, fuck it, we eat there all the time. I was like, well, then what am I doing?
I'm telling you, that chicken's got power. And here's the thing. I found out a funny thing about it, right? Like Chick-fil-A, very religious organization, anti-gay or whatever. But they're in Hollywood, which is probably one of the bigger gay places ever. But you're not allowed inside.
Yeah.
It's like they said, you can have the chicken, but you ain't coming in here. You can drive around. We'll throw it out the window.
Yeah. I never even thought about that.
So
I love that one.
You can't even get in.
And that one, I bet that one makes that might make the most money out of all of them because it stays open super late. I would go eat there at like 1:30 in the morning. It was great.
I've taken special trips there, like just like hungover, and like I'm going to that. Now, have you had the new Popeyes chicken sandwich?
Yeah, but I'm a Chick-fil-A guy through and through.
I like it. I like both.
I had it in the airport the other day in Vegas. But I tell you what I do. My Chick-fil-A go-to order is I get the nuggets and then I get the chicken noodle soup. And then I drop my nuggets in the chicken noodle soup for monster chicken noodle soup.
Oh my!
Then I get my cherry
Coke,
and then I get ice cream. I love the ice cream there too.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I used to work there. It's one of the first jobs I ever had was at a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was in high school.
Wait, did it start right out there?
It started in Atlanta or Georgia, I think, somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah.
And then it just grew slowly in the South. But it's always been around in my life.
Yeah.
So one of the first jobs, I think I was 16. I got a job there, and I knew that they were not open on Sundays. But I pretended not to know in the interview because the manager, the guy who was actually a co-owner who interviewed me, was also religious. And we're going through the interview, and at the very end, he goes, well, do you have any questions for me? I was like, no, I think this is great. The only thing is I'm really big into my youth group in church. I go twice on Sundays, and on Wednesday night we do a Wednesday night supper thing. So and it's just against my beliefs that you're not supposed to work on Sundays. So I can't, unfortunately, work on Sundays. And he goes, John, I respect that. And guess what? We're not even open on Sundays.
Nailed it.
When can you start? And I said, how's Monday? So I kind of fibbed a little bit. But I was like, I was like Jesus with the fishes and the loaves, just handing out free chicken. I gave so much chicken away when I worked there to my friends who come up. I had other friends working in the food court in the mall, and so with barter system. I get tokens at the game room for chicken, and I mean, one time I had to stand out there with that little tray, the sample tray. And I got tired of standing there, so I just walked around the mall with chicken. Like you'd see me over at Spencer Gifts, like, hey, why don't you get somebody to put that dildo down and get this chicken? I love it. I had a good time working there.
Only thing better than Chick-fil-A is free Chick-fil-A.
Free Chick-fil-A. Sure. And I'm trying to think, the Chick-fil-A sandwich is amazing, right? I put mayonnaise on it. And when I worked there, I would sometimes put the Polynesian sauce on it, which I really love. Waffle fries, I like them. Sometimes they don't cook them long enough for me. I like them a little bit crispier. They used to have a thing called carrot raisin salad, which is disgusting. I was never a big fan of that. But what they took off the menu, which makes me mad, which I would love this, was the chicken salad sandwich. And I don't know why they took it off the menu.
I don't know.
It makes me mad. I'll drive through there and ask for it and just have a debate with these people.
I know. I wonder. I don't know what made me like chicken salad, but I'm with you. I eat chicken salad sandwiches. Sometimes if I see it on a menu, I was like, oh, I got to get this.
Yeah, especially if it's like a hot day.
Yeah.
Something about a cold chicken salad sandwich is good.
Yeah. What's your favorite toy as a child?
Favorite toy as a child, probably. I mean, does a big wheel count as a toy? I mean, I got a big wheel as a kid. I loved that thing. We'd ride around the neighborhood with it. But I had one buddy who there's this one rich kid in the neighborhood. You ever heard of a green machine? Do you remember the green machine?
What is it, like a drivable one?
Yeah, the big wheel, it's just like a plastic tricycle. And you can sit back and it's like you're on a motorcycle as a kid, you pedal. The green machine had 4 wheels and it had levers that you could pull up and just but it was also plastic. But this dude Brad in the neighborhood thought he was better than everybody because he had to go get a green machine. But I like the big wheel.
Yeah, nobody in Wyoming could get the green machine. It might be just getting to Wyoming now. What'd you do on your 21st birthday?
21st birthday, I was living in Raleigh, North Carolina, going to school at North Carolina State University. And me and my friends went to a place called Mitch's Tavern. It's where they shot the dance scene in Bull Durham. And it's a legendary campus college bar, good sandwich shop. But they would ID you there. And so previously to this, I had the fake ID made. And me and my buddies went there, and we all had fake IDs. And one after another, we gave our ID to the bouncer. And he looked at it. He goes, "Oh, here's a fake one. Thank you." Put it in his pocket. And then we'd just stand there. He'd go on, get out of here. And I was already I was behind the next guy. I was like, I was already in autopilot. And I gave it to him. He goes, 2 in a row.
Oh.
And so I'm like, all right, when I'm turning 21, I'm going back to that place. So I went to Mitch's Tavern and just got hammer timed.
Got hammer time?
Yeah.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, that's a good question.
I feel like you could nail it.
My go-to karaoke. Do you want me to sing it?
You can give us. You don't have to do the whole thing. Give us a little.
I got a little change in my pocket, going jing-a-lang-a-lang. I want to call you on the telephone, baby. Remember that song?
That's a great song.
My favorite part where he goes, no huggy, no kissing, like at a wedding ring. That's Georgia Satellites. Keep your hands to yourself. It's one of those songs that people forget they like until they hear it.
Oh
again.
Yeah, that's right there. That made
and it's
me happy.
Upbeat, and they go like, "Oh, I like that part." And they go.
I think do you ever do that on stage?
I do.
I've seen you do that because I'm like, I like
it.
Yeah. I was like, I've seen this before. When's the first time you asked somebody for an autograph?
Wow. It wasn't in person. It was a fan club I joined. Olivia Newton-John. I was in love with Olivia Newton-John as a kid. I was probably in 3rd, 4th grade. Maybe later than that when Xanadu came out. And I love that movie. It's stupid now. The soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah,
it's all Electric Light Orchestra and her together. It's awesome. But I remember joining a fan club and my mom and dad be like, "Oh, sure, we'll sign you up, kid." And I didn't know anything was going to happen. And then they mailed me back some Olivia Newton-John stuff. And I got a signed headshot from Olivia Newton-John.
That's awesome. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is your room still intact from when you left, or did they do?
It's a little bit. I mean, it's changed over the years anyway. But there is one poster. I'm okay with them taking it down, but I think my mom likes it there. It's it's in a frame. It's a big giant poster-sized picture of me high school football.
Oh, I love it.
I'm on like one knee, and I got that 1,000-yard stare. I'm like some badass. My shoulder pads are 8 sizes too big. I got that foam neck pad that doesn't do anything, and we were 0-10 that year, and she keeps it up there.
I love it. It's humbling for you.
Yeah, I think it is.
What's the most recent thing you've learned?
Probably podcast stuff, like learning how to work social media. Like I hate having to learn that stuff, but it's a necessary evil.
It's very necessary.
So learning how to just tag people or share stuff on Instagram or Snapchat even. I just signed up for TikTok just to get my name in case somebody tried to get Jon Reep for whatever reason. So I'm always trying to learn how that works just to promote my podcast, and I hate it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
What about you?
That's the same. Like I'm struggling every day with just trying to not even get ahead, just try to catch up. I mean, I'm so far behind just trying to maintain and just bullshit with the sound and stuff. And, I got these people listening, and then I hate nothing's more frustrating than just working on this and then having someone be like, hey, I like the episode, but I couldn't really hear it. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? So, just shit like that.
That frustrates me. I got my own friends from high school. I got 2 of them on the podcast. And I'm on a text chain with other dudes from my high school who don't know anything about social media. And I have to do a separate post for them. Yeah. I'm like, dude, just go click. Because I know they don't want to have to learn that stuff either. And it's a pain in the ass. It makes me mad when a friend of mine goes, they go, what'd you do last Saturday? I was like, dude, the podcast, man. I talked about you. Did you not hear it? I sent you a link. They're like, oh, no, I didn't get around to it. It makes me so mad.
Some will catch up. What's the most money or coolest thing you've won?
The last Comic
Standing. I figured,
that was a big moment. That was.
So take me through that day. How did you think it was going to go?
Well, I didn't think I was going to win. It was down to me and Lavelle Crawford. And Lavelle Crawford was crushing in the room. I was doing well. I was doing great, but I wasn't crushing like Lavelle. So everyone thought Lavelle Crawford was going to win. So I think what the difference for me was when you watch something on TV as opposed to being there live, it's 2 different things.
Yeah.
And Lavelle's great in the room, but I guess sometimes it just didn't translate as well at home. So what no one knew was I was crushing it on TV, but he was just crushing in the room.
Yeah.
So it was misleading. But I didn't think I was going to win. I was standing there as Bill Bellamy was about to read the names, and I'm standing there. I got my fiance at the time there. My mom and dad's there. And Bill Bellamy does that pause where they always do that. And the last comic standing winner is. And I was waiting to hear Lavelle Crawford. And you could tell he was disappointed when he read it. Because I went back and watched it. He says it just like this. Last comic standing winner is Jon Reep.
Oh, that was Bellamy?
Bill Bellamy said it like that. Not like, Jon Reep! He wasn't excited. But they did, the cannons went off with the confetti and those balloons, and everyone's cheering because it's TV. And my mom and dad come running on stage, and, it was great. I remember being frustrated that L.A. and especially the people in the room aren't getting me as much as the rest of the country is. So I remember like having a FU moment, and I was going to get Hillbilly on their ass. And they made me wear a stupid blazer. Which I'm like, I don't ever wear a blazer. He's like, come on, it's finals. You got to wear a blazer. So the first thing I did was rip that blazer off, and I threw it on the ground, and I took my shoes off. And I was going to start doing like a hoedown in there. And my dad grabbed me. He goes, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to get Hillbilly up in here. He goes, you won. Like, all right. And I stopped. But that was an amazing moment. I think Lavelle thought he was going to win. I won $250,000, which is cool. And it was the biggest. It was the biggest paycheck I've got at one time, and the biggest audience that I've ever had, because it wasn't just in America. That season was in the UK, Australia, and Canada. So it was a huge audience.
Did everything change? Well, it probably changed even a little before that because they showed so many episodes leading up.
They did. Oh, my God.
But it was great for me as a young comic watching. I love that shit. I was trained to watch it. And it was so
coming
cool.
up next. Yeah. And they showed me a lot in the coming up next thing because I'd always go, Hickory.
Yeah.
And so they showed me saying Hickory over and over again. I only said it one time.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's all I talk about.
Yeah. What did you buy anything special?
Well, let's see here. I had already bought a condo. So I was on a sitcom for 2 seasons called Rodney with Rodney Carrington. I did a bunch of Dodge truck commercials before all this.
That was huge.
So I already had the condo, So the next thing, what did I buy next? Oh, I know what I got married. I went to Hawaii.
Oh,
I got married. I paid for a huge wedding in Hawaii. Yeah, I wish I could do that one over. But I mean, honestly, the wedding was fun.
I'm sure.
Because I ended up flying some of my family members out, and we did it in Hawaii, and it was like on a private estate. But I was all some of my best friends and family were there, and we had a luau basically.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
That's awesome. What's the weirdest thing you've ever had happen with a roommate?
The weirdest thing I've ever had happen with a roommate. Well, let's see. I never really walked in on anybody.
Have you ever been walked in on?
Who all listens to this?
Nobody important.
Okay. God, I don't know if I could tell this one. It's fine. All right. So I was having a party in Raleigh, and so I had me, 3 other roommates, right? And I had some friends coming up from Charlotte to Raleigh. That's about 2.5 hours away for the party.
Yeah.
And they're coming. They call. No, they just show up. This is before cell phones, really. They just show up with these 2 girls. I'm like, who are these? Where'd you meet these girls? Like, on the road? What do you mean on the road? Well, they were going to spring break. Those girls are from Michigan. They were going to Florida. But somewhere on the interstate, my brother and these other guys started flirting with them, like making signs, like honk if you do, whatever. And they pulled over and talked to them. They hung out, and they convinced them to not go to Florida and come to Raleigh instead.
I love it.
And craziness ensued.
Yeah,
I mean, there was lots of debauchery. It was a good time.
Obviously, they're crazy. They're just like, fuck it, I'm going to South Carolina.
Let's just say there was one moment where this girl was very happy to please a lot of us.
It's college.
Yeah, man. It was a good time.
What's the craziest or weirdest thing you've ever done to impress a girl?
Oh, my God. Impress is different than what I was thinking. Okay. Impress a girl. I don't know. I'm trying to think. All right. So before I was married, I was engaged to another girl before this, way before it. So I've been engaged twice, married once, divorced once. But the first girl that I was engaged to, we were living together. No. We were about to. This is before we lived together. She moved from South Carolina to Livermore, California. She got a job there, basically because I had moved from North Carolina to Los Angeles to pursue all this. And we were dating at the time, and I kind of figured when I moved out to L.A., that would be like, okay, well, it was fun. Goodbye. And then she goes, no, I'll just move out there. I'm like, shit. And but it was cool. I was like, well, let's just see. I wasn't like too worried about where it would go. I didn't care. I was having fun with her. We were in love. It was fine. And then she, like, when I would go up there and visit her, and then I brought her home for Christmas one year, and Christmas gifts are coming out, and I didn't get her an engagement ring. I got her something else, but I think she thought, oh God, I was going to propose, and she just started crying. And I was like, "What's wrong?" She goes, "I don't know. It's something stupid. I thought you was going to ask me to marry you." Blah blah blah. And then that's planted a seed in my head, and I'm like, she's right, man. Maybe I should just do this. Oh, no. So I'm thinking I need to make her happy. I want to impress her. At the same time, I feel like she deserves this. Yeah. And at the same time, I'm also thinking, but it's just an engagement. Yeah. It's not the real thing. Yeah, so I'll just prolong this. And anyway, I was visiting her in Livermore, and I'm thinking, all right, for Valentine's Day, I'll get her a ring. So I'm hanging out in her apartment. She's at work. She lets me have her car for the day while she's at work. I go to the mall. I find a ring. I buy the ring. And then the guy goes, well, we don't have that size, but can you come back at 6:30 and pick it up? I'm like, shit, but then she'll be here.
Yeah.
And how do I get back to the mall without her knowing? And so I was like, whatever, I'll figure it out. And then so she comes back, and we're all hanging out in the apartment, me and her, and I'm like, oh, honey, I left my Palm Pilot at the mall at Foot Locker. I'm going to just go run and get it real quick and come right back. She goes, oh, well, let's go to the mall. I'll go with you. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Now she's with me. I'm in the car. I'm thinking, how do I get her to not follow me to the jewelry store so I can get this ring and surprise her later for Valentine's Day? And I'm like, I just said, you know what? I'll just be honest with her. I said, look, I need to do something without you for just a second. So why don't you go to the food court? I'll meet you there in like 20 minutes. All I had to do was go pick it up.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And then she started getting suspicious and angry. And I was like, don't worry about it. This is fine.
Yeah.
So I get the ring. We meet, and she is this livid. She's convinced that I am there to flirt with a girl, like some girl that I met at a Foot Locker.
Yeah.
Like she made up this whole story. And I'm getting pissed because it's the exact opposite of all of that. And we're arguing. We're yelling at each other. And she's screaming at me, and I'm screaming back at her. We're in the parking lot of the mall. She goes, but I don't understand. Why? And I pulled the ring out, and I showed it to her. I go, this is why. Because I was going to ask you to marry me. Fucking happy now?
Yeah.
I was going to wait till Valentine's Day here. And then she started bawling.
Yeah.
And we made up. And, it lasted a little longer.
Yeah,
and
you should have known right.
That was
there.
bad. Never get engaged in a mall parking lot during an argument.
That's so funny. Like, here, all right, here it is. What do you have on your fridge door?
Well, it's a shared fridge with my mom. So there's a calendar up there. There's a West Hickory Baptist Church calendar. There is a little clip thing that you can put notes on. And somebody thought, I don't know why they thought I wanted this, but they listened to my podcast. And I guess they make magnets. And they made magnets out of my album covers and sent it to me.
Oh, that's kind of
like,
cool.
all right, I'll just put magnets of me on my fridge.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you collect anything?
That's a funny question. I actually used to collect refrigerator magnets. Not a joke. That's so funny. You did that back to back. Because I thought, like, I travel. I've been in every state in this country, and I should be getting souvenirs.
Yeah.
Like some stupid little knick-knack, a little braggadocious thing like, I'm a well-traveled dude. So I started buying at the airport shops there just magnets of that city. Mm-hmm. And at one time when I lived in L.A., my refrigerator was covered in like magnets from cities from all over the country. It was crazy. Yeah.
But you got rid of them all?
I got rid of them all when I moved out, and I was like, screw that.
Yeah, you don't want to move magnets.
Yeah, it's not that important.
Where's the worst place you've ever had to sleep?
That's a good question. Well, I've slept outdoor. I've slept in tents. Worst place I've had to sleep. Well, probably just in my car one time. A couple times. When as a feature act back in the day, you'd take whatever gig you could. It didn't pay anything, and there are times where you've got a day or two to kill.
Yeah.
Between shows, and money was tight, and there's times I just pull off. Somewhere, like a rest area, and just lean the seat back and pass out.
No, I've been there. Yeah. If a hotel's $50, that's like 10 meals. Like,
yeah.
Fuck that, I gotta eat.
I mean, how much sleep do I really need?
What moment in life were you the most scared?
Most scared? Well, getting divorced is scary. But like a scary, I totaled my car one time in North Dakota. I used to have a Suzuki Sidekick before the Hemi stuff. And I don't know if you remember Suzuki Sidekicks, but they're very square. They're very light.
Yeah.
It's like a box kite that you're driving around. And so I was driving, and it was a cold day, and a rainy day, and the road was covered in like black ice, and I didn't know it had gotten that cold. It just started getting cold or whatever. Anyway, I hit some black ice, and my car started skidding, and I would lose it. I would turn into the thing, and I would regain control, and then I'd lose it again and go back that way. It seemed like forever. The car started going spinning around like this, and then it just went down a ditch and toppled over on the side.
Shit.
And now it's like on the passenger side door. I'm up here like this, going down into a ditch, and then the ditch has got water running through. Now water's coming through my car,
God.
and I'm like, all of it happened so fast. Even though it seemed to take forever, it was like the radio was still playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, shit. It scared the death out of me. You know, it lasted forever. And now I'm just standing in my car, standing on the driver's side window, the passenger side window is above me. I'm looking through the windshield. I'm like, well, how do I get out of this?
Yeah.
My laptop's getting wet because there's water's running through it.
God.
And I see a trucker who had skidded off the road probably 100 yards in front of me. He saw me go through all that. And this dude's running towards me, like to help. And he said, don't move. There's broken glass everywhere. I'm going to lift the car around you. Like he thought he could just pick the car up and I'm supposed to stand like that while it just comes up like that. I was like, I can crawl out the top. It's fine.
Get out.
But, yeah, that was pretty scary.
Yeah, that's real scary. Wait, so then with the Hemi stuff, did they give you a Hemi for doing that?
They gave me one as sort of partial payment because I did 6 of them. And then around the third one, I asked my agent, I said, hey, if they want to do any more of these, see if you can get a vehicle.
Uh-huh.
And he's a good agent, so he called them up and made it sound like their problem. And he goes, I don't know if you know this, but your Hemi guy, your spokesman, is driving around Los Angeles in a Suzuki Sidekick.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we can't have that. So they scrambled and, made a deal. And the next day I was in Huntington Beach, Dodge, getting a brand new Dodge Ram 1500 quad cab, chrome wheels, black.
Yeah.
I loved it for a while.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Good job, agent.
Yeah. Thank you, Hugh Leon, from Coast to Coast Talent.
What's the most embarrassing story your family always tells about you?
Most embarrassing story my family tells about me. Okay. My mom won't tell this one, but my dad will if he really wants to embarrass me. I used to, when I discovered my penis, what its other uses for, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I would hump furniture. And I had no shame. Like, I didn't know it was a shameful thing.
Yeah.
I just knew it felt great. And so, my mom would come walking in the living room, and there's her son on the ottoman just going at it. And she'd go, get off of that, what are you doing? And so they like to tell that story.
Yeah. That's funny. Have you ever been arrested?
I have. I got arrested. I got a DUI in college. I blew a .08 right when the law changed from .10 to .08. Like 2 months prior to this, the cop would have let me go. He told me that. And so took me down to the police station and lost my license for a year. They did to take your picture, all that stuff. That was brutal. I've been detained and kicked out of places, but that's the only time I've actually been arrested.
Been full arrested? Yeah. Wait, detained? Wait, didn't you get in trouble at a football game or something?
That's when they kicked me out of that one, and they held me for a minute in a tent.
What happened?
I got kicked out of a Carolina Panthers game for dancing in the end zone with the mascot, but I was invited out there. It wasn't really my fault. I was already dancing in the end zone. I mean, in the crowd with just making my friends laugh. They play timeout. They play music during the timeout, and I just get up and start dancing, just making my friends laugh. And third quarter comes around, my buddy Marty said, you got to get on that grass hill behind the goalpost so the whole stadium can see this. Only half the audience can see you, and you go down there. I'm like, you're a genius. And so I go on the grass hill, and because they played their home games in Clemson before they had their stadium built. So there was a Clemson stadium, which had at the time had a grass hill behind one of the goalposts where you could anybody could go and hang out over there. So I'm on this grass hill, and a player gets hurt, and now they're playing music for 10 minutes straight while they're working on this dude. And it just so happened that that moment happened, and I'm going off. Like, I really could dance. I would do one dance move and point to one side of the stadium, and they go, because they had seen me progress.
Yeah.
And finally, the mascot sees me dancing, and he's like, he's trying to do his own routine. No one's looking at him. He's like, can't beat him, join him, I guess. And he walks over to the fence, and he waves me out there to dance with him. And I'm like, well, hell yeah. So I jump over there, and my friends basically threw me over the fence, and I go out in the 5-yard line. I'm dancing with the mascot. Me and Sir Purr getting down. And I start break dancing and all this stuff. I'm doing the worm on the 5-yard line, and all the cheers turned to boos during the worm. And they weren't booing me. They were booing the cops who were running out onto the field behind me to arrest me because they didn't see Sir Purr's invitation. Because they're facing the crowd. They're not even looking at the game. And so they didn't see that. They just thought I was a drunk kid, which I was. But I was invited, and they kicked me out, and they marched me 99 yards. I was already in that end zone.
And they took you the whole way.
Yeah, they wedged me up off the ground. I was doing the worm. God. There's a video of this.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, if you really want to see this, Google Jon Reep Panther game.
Gotcha.
It's a 1 minute long. Me getting the footage was a whole other story, too. But so I'm doing the worm, and the cops come up out of nowhere, and they grab my pants like at the peak of the worm. And it's a wedgie. It's a full-on wedgie. And I'm up on my tippy toes like, what the hell? Sir Purr said it was cool, you know. And so they marched me 99 yards and never let go of my pants the whole time. And I told the one asshole cop, I was like, man, come on. You got me. I'm not going to get out of here. You know, please let go of me. And he's like, I ain't letting go of you. So if you watch the tape, you'll see that I said this to him. I said in his ear, if you don't let go of me, I'm going to put my arm around you, and we're going to walk out of here like we're a couple. Yeah. And I did. And I held him like that. We walked out together. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not just going to walk out like that. We're going to do it together.
And then what happened to Panthers?
And then they kick you out, and they had their own little cop tent set up out there because they didn't have their stadium yet. They didn't have – so it was like a tent, you know, where you sit down and they interrogate you, or, you know, they just get your information. They're like, where you're from, why you're here, blah, blah, blah. And so they take down my information, and a couple of weeks goes by, and I guess the Panthers organization realized that it wasn't really my fault. Like, I was invited out there. And so I got like an apology letter from the Panthers.
Oh, that's good.
And with a bunch of free stuff like a sipper bottle, a coffee mug, a keychain, a bumper sticker.
All the shit they can't sell.
All Panther stuff that no one that's under $5, basically. And a check for $15 because they thought that I only was bought a Hill ticket. But actually bought like a $50 ticket. But anyway,
But then fast forward later in life, did you go back and they were...
Oh, the footage. So my brother happened to be standing next to the camera guy because this was a freelance videographer guy standing in the end zone. And it was a timeout, so he wasn't really recording much, but he was still rolling. And that was going on. So he was rolling on me. It wasn't live. He just was recording it. And my brother noticed all of that, and he walked over to the camera guy. He goes, hey, did you just record all of that? He goes, yeah. He goes, how do I get this footage? And that dude, because he was a freelance photographer, gave him his business card. And my brother kept it, and unbeknownst to me, contacted that dude. And that dude, you know, sold it to him for like $100.
That's awesome.
And so it was in my, you know, Christmas stocking at Christmas. And I'm like, I have this now forever.
That's awesome.
And I hadn't even done stand-up at that point. I had been thinking about doing stand-up. And that kind of was like, gave me the confidence to go on the stage for the first time because I had been talking about it.
If you can get a wedgie in front of 50,000 people, you could bomb a couple of jokes.
If you can make 75,000 people live, maybe go talk to a room full of 30 people at open mic.
What was your first like crazy LA night when you're like, I can't believe I'm at this person's house or around this person? Or
you know Steve Renazizi?
I'm not in Hickory anymore. Yeah, I love Steve Renazizi.
And Ahmed. All those guys. So we all did comedy at different places together in L.A. And so we're hanging out. Me and my ex-wife at the time are on a date with Steve and his wife at a Mexican place. And he's like, what are y'all doing after this? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, stick around because Vince Vaughn's going to come. I'm like, oh, sweet. And but he's going to wait till the restaurant closes. So they, like, closed the restaurant, kicked everybody out, and then Vince came in with, like, Peter Billingsley,
Yeah.
The kid that plays Ralphie in A Christmas Story, who like is a producer now.
Yeah.
They came in and just wanted to hang out and drink with everybody. So I was sitting at a bar next to Vince Vaughn, and we were, they were playing country music for whatever reason. They were playing country music, and Vince is like, "Oh, I love this! I love this country shit, man. This is great. Like, I know all the words." Like, he started singing like it was Willie Nelson, and we're singing at the top of our lungs Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash songs at each other to see who actually knew all the words.
Yeah, and
we were just laughing our asses off. I got drunk that night. I remember thinking like, this is what I thought LA was going to be like all the time. Once I kind of made something of myself.
Yeah.
It was I haven't seen him since then, but that was a fun time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, how about
being in Danny McBride's house was a big one.
Sure. How'd that just from being on the show?
Yeah, just being on the Eastbound and Down.
He lives out there still, doesn't he?
No, he just moved to South Carolina.
Oh,
but he was living out there.
He seems like a cool dude.
He is. He's super cool, man.
Well, who have you met that made you the most nervous?
Okay, let's see here. So, honestly, it was Danny McBride because I had already done Rodney's sitcom. I had already done Harold and Kumar Escape Guantanamo Bay. I'd done TV stuff before, but this was the first time I was on a show that I was a fan of.
Yeah.
Like, really a fan. I didn't care about Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
I didn't see the first one until I knew I was going to be in the second one. So it didn't mean anything. I mean, it was awesome, but it didn't intimidate me. But Danny McBride, by accident, just because of my own fandom, intimidated me. And I remember I didn't want to screw it up. And I remember I was in my trailer memorizing all my lines. I was him for Halloween 3 years before I was on the show. And I'm like, do I show him this picture? Is that too fanboy? Do I wait? I'm like, I'll wait. I don't know that good yet.
Have to open with it.
I don't want to go like, oh, he's like, oh, God, who to hire? You know what I mean? I didn't want to do all that. So I'm thinking all this, and I remember like the first day, the first scene we did was a big party scene where we do a slow motion walk, like the Goodfellas or something. Anyway, and but I remember sitting at a couch. It's me and the guys from the Sports Sesh from the last season of Eastbound and Down, and the scene. I had my lines ready to go, and there was no meeting about like, well, here's how we do things, whatever. And they go, and go, and everyone starts improvising. I'm like, oh
shit.
Is this what? Okay. Well, am I allowed to just jump? And now I'm nervous because I don't want to screw this up. I don't want to just go, wait, I didn't know we was doing this, And I think I screwed my line up. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then after that, I was fine. But I wish you would have told me first.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, but it was cool. They were super nice. I was there. They shot in Wilmington for one summer. I was in 4 episodes, but not all in a row. And I had just gotten divorced. And so I was like, can I just stay here? I mean, if I need to pay for the room, I will. They're like, that's fine. So I just stayed out there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so that had to be
avoided my life in LA. That misery of being divorced.
That had to be a great summer.
Yeah, it was an awesome summer. Let me tell you, those dudes work hard and they play hard.
I bet, man. Well, speaking of that, what's the best costume you've ever worn?
Best costume I ever worn.
Wait, did you show him the costume eventually?
I did.
What did he think?
He goes, "That's dope, dog." That was it. There was nothing.
Yeah,
I knew it would be.
Yeah,
but I waited to tell him. I didn't show him that picture till the wrap party. Like it was all done. It was in the can. Yeah. There's no way they could fire me. Then I showed him the picture.
That's awesome.
That's dope, dog. Favorite costume. Let's see here. Well, I just did. I don't know. I just did I had a comedy special out right now called The Ginger Beard Man, and as a way of promoting it, I made a video, and I had just watched the Joker movie, the new Joke Joaquin Phoenix, and that's a great movie. Like I really loved that movie. I didn't know what I didn't know what I was going to see, and I loved it because he was a comedian or trying to be a comedian. So there's show business to it. He lived with his mom. I now live with my mom. We had a lot in common. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'm going to use that as promo. So I bought on Amazon, a big gingerbread costume. And I put that on. But I painted my face like the Joker. And I made how the ginger beard man is exactly the same as the Joker.
Yeah.
A little funny video of that. So
that's cool.
that was fun. It's on YouTube and everything. You can check it out.
All right. What city do you hope you never have to go to again?
Let's see here. I'll start with my favorites. Nashville, Denver. Tampa's third. Least favorite city. God, is this going to screw my career?
No, you don't have to.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's...
You don't have to say
I have a love-hate relationship with this city. New York.
Yeah?
It's too big. It's too crowded. I don't like... People are rude and always in a hurry. And it's just so stressful.
Yeah.
So... But I also have had some great times there.
Yeah.
I shot my Comedy Central Presents there. I've worked up there. I've done clubs up there, and they like me.
Yeah,
but it's not mutual.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. How about this? What's the best concert and sporting event you've ever been to?
All right, best concert. These are great questions.
Thank you, buddy.
Because you really reveal a lot by these questions. This is great. Dave Matthews. There, I said it. There was a moment where he was hot, and I was a big fan of Dave Matthews. I saw that dude like 5 times.
I've seen. He's great. One of my best concerts I've ever seen was here in the pouring rain at Red Rocks.
Oh,
incredible!
Yeah. His album, one of the best albums ever, was recorded at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I did ecstasy too. So me and my buddy Joel and some girls we were hanging out with, we all did ecstasy before the concert, and that's the best time I've had in my life. One of the best times. And then best sporting event was, luckily because we travel so much and we have Sundays off, sometimes I'll be in a city that has an NFL team, and I'll be like, well, if I score a ticket, I'll just go. And I happen to be in Green Bay, and they happen to be playing the Carolina Panthers.
Perfect.
And you know how those games are sold out for years? Well, it is impossible, almost impossible, to get like 2 tickets, but you can get 1.
Yeah.
And I got 1 ticket, and I went to the game. It was brutally cold. I sat next to some girls who were like from Wisconsin, but not Green Bay, who traveled a long way to be there. And the Panthers won that game, and a quarterback sneak at the very end by Steve Berline from the 7-yard line. And he was old. Yeah. So no one assumed that he was just going to run up the middle from the 7-yard line as a 30-something-year-old dude. And he just walked in. And it was the time went out, the clock. And I'm the only guy with my hands up like that. And I remember these girls looking like, put your hands down. I was like, that was an awesome game.
My girlfriend took me there this year for my birthday to see the Broncos play him, and it was cool.
That's cool. Did you do the museum too?
Yeah, it was just the whole neighborhood. Well, you know what? I just realized you did a show with one of my friends' band, Chancey Williams, and the Younger Brothers. I don't know where you guys did a show together. There's some Wyoming boys, and they did a. I don't know
Wyoming.
It might have been Wyoming or down around here, Kansas.
Are they in Cheyenne? Or?
Yeah, they probably play. I mean, they played, but Cheyenne's where I'm from, so I would have known if you were there.
Did I? Oh, it's been a long time.
It's
I did
probably
a lot
been
of colleges.
It's been a while ago, or maybe it was like at a festival or South Dakota or somewhere.
Maybe.
But I was just with them, and they were like,
"Where was it?"
Their manager,
this is killing me.
Their manager was like talking about having me just. They said, "I go opening for a band is like brutal," and they said, "Oh, we did show with Jon Reep. You know him?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "He's so fun." They were like, I don't know where it was. I'll have to ask him.
Oh, that's cool. Well, tell him I said hello.
Yeah, they were. They loved you, man.
I had to. Well, here's a moment. So I had to open for Brad Paisley. Not had to, but it's weird because they're there to see him.
Yeah, of course.
But me and Sarah Tiano,
who's hilarious.
He flew us out in his private jet to go to a concert just to see how things are going to go. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then now he goes, "Yeah, well, I'm in Hollywood. I'll have you guys open for me at the Hollywood Bowl." I'm like, "That's badass." Not many comedians have performed at the Hollywood Bowl. There's only like 5 or 6, I think. That's what I was told. But it was crazy because I told Brad too. I was like, "This is my mistake." Yeah, I was trying to make him laugh.
Yeah.
I said it'd be funny if I just walked out there and like I was a roadie and just like started like doing mics and then just started doing comedy. He goes, "Yeah, you should do that." I'm like, "Fuck, that was stupid."
Yeah.
Because I would have loved a proper introduction from Brad Paisley going like, "You guys, We got some comedians coming out. I want you to check out my good
These
friend.
are my friends.
Yeah,
that
my friends.
Yeah.
But I go out there dressed as a roadie, and I'm like doing mic check. I'm going, check one, similar. I'm doing all that, and I go like, "Can y'all hear me in the back?" They're like, "Yeah." And I just cool, man. I'm not supposed to. It was tough.
Yeah.
People who were listening liked it, but they turn the lights on so people go pee.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 acts before him. I mean, like so Sarah goes out first, and it's still daylight when she goes out there. She does her set, which went great, and then she introduced the next musical act. And then that person would perform. And then I would go out, and then one more music act, and then Brad. So there was like a long time by the time I got out there. And it was dark, and now they're drunk, and they're ready to go pee.
Yeah.
And then the nasty lights come on, the fluorescence. And I'm just like, it was not – I say I survived it.
Yeah.
I didn't
that's
suck,
half
but it wasn't great.
Well, Brad Paisley got into comedy there for a while.
Yeah, he had a – I'm on a Netflix thing with him now called Brad Paisley's Comedy Rodeo because he just loves comedy. He's a fan of comedians, and he wants to dabble in it. He does a lot of funny videos, and he hosts award shows, and the commercials are always funny with him and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, him and Peyton.
He's just a fan of comedy. He's got all the money in the world. He gets screwed. I'm going to do my own special.
It's good for everybody.
So I'm like, sure.
That's cool. What about church? You ever do anything with church? You guys do Eric Church, like a Hickory show or anything?
No. I have actually reached out to all the celebrity types from Hickory. I thought like we should all get together and do like a charity thing, and nobody got back to me. But no, I haven't. I've never even met Eric Church.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would think small town wise.
You would think.
Yeah.
He's younger than me. I think I was already in L.A. by the time he started doing stuff. And he was on another outskirts of Hickory.
He's badass. What's the biggest bar tab you've ever seen picked up?
Oh, man. I don't know if I've seen. Oh, I can tell you my biggest bar tab. I don't remember what the amount was,
yours,
but I remember it being like. So, my ex, and this was, she meant well, but for my 35th birthday or 40th birthday, I think, she decided to have a surprise party for me. I go, that's great. And we're walking up to a bar right off of Ventura in Studio City, and I thought we were just going to go hang out and have a dinner and a drink. And I walk in, and a lot of my friends are there, like 30 people, and they're all dressed white trash. Like we're having a white trash theme party at one of my favorite restaurants at the time, and bar and hangout. And everyone's getting lit, and we're having a great time. And she goes, oh, yeah, I arranged all this, and we have an open bar. Like everyone's drinking for free. I go, cool. What do you mean open bar? I'm like, well, I didn't want them to pay for it, so I paid for it. I paid for my own birthday party.
Yeah. I would say that's.
I didn't know I was doing it.
Yeah,
but it was a pretty penny.
I bet
It was in the thousands.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What song always makes you happy when you hear it?
Song makes me happy. Well, Don't Worry, Be Happy is a good one.
Yeah.
But I don't hear that much anymore. That Georgia Satellite song.
Yeah.
I do like one-hit wonders from the 80s. I like, like 80s music. That's mostly what I listen to.
Yeah.
But on Sirius XM, there's a bluegrass channel. And when I moved back home, so I flew my dad out to help me to Los Angeles when I decided to move. This is before he had a stroke. Like I knew I was coming home anyway, but him having the strokes really solidified all of it. It was like cosmic, whatever. So we're driving back, and we drove all the way with my stuff from L.A. to North Carolina without buying a hotel room. We had arranged. I had a Mercury Mountaineer, which was like a SUV, and we arranged in the back. So but we're also towing a U-Haul thing. So all my stuff's in the U-Haul, but in the back of the Mercury, we laid it down. We made a bed back there, and we took turns, took shifts, and we made it in like 36 hours. It's supposed to take 3 days.
Yeah.
And we just drove and stopped to get gas and eat and pee and poop, and that was it. And I remember having this real moment, like I'm leaving Los Angeles, and now I'm pulling into my hometown. It took this long. We're exhausted. I said, I just want to play some good old bluegrass music. Yeah. And it made me so happy. And now I really have a new love for bluegrass. I've always kind of liked it, but I like a good banjo. Yeah. It does make me happy.
No, there's a couple Cheyenne songs where they talk about Cheyenne that I always play when I'm driving back into town. I'm like, there it is. This is my place.
I was jamming John Denver Country Roads. I mean, I was pulling in, but it was a happy ball.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm there too. It's weird. Music makes me cry a lot. I talk about it on here a lot. Like, it's a good cry though. I like it.
Yeah.
What's the greatest physical pain you've ever felt?
Well, I've been knocked out. Like I said, you don't really feel that. Greatest physical pain. Really kicking the bus. What else? I broke my. Probably separating my shoulder, or maybe when I got hit in the knee in football. Both were pretty bad. I separated my shoulder. That one was really bad.
Yeah.
So we're playing backyard football. And this was after I was a freshman at a community college in Hickory. And so I'm like 20.
Yeah.
And we're still like stupid. We're playing tackle football with just street clothes on.
Yeah.
You know, we're stupid. And this one dude, he tackled me, and I fell into a ditch, and my shoulder went, cow, and I separated it. And it was, you could see like this bone kind of stuck up. And I lived with it for a long time. Because I went to the doctor, right?
Yeah.
And I was in pain. We go to the doctor, and they took x-rays and all that stuff. And they said, well, you've separated it. We could do a surgery, or you could live with it. And it should be fine because you didn't break anything. You separated it. I go, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm like, whatever. I'll just live with it, you know. So I lived with it. And then now I'm back in Hickory. And I'm in my 40s now. I'm 47 now. So now I'm 46. My shoulder's been killing me the last 5 years. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a new start in life. Let me walk in here and I saw a thing that said Emerge Ortho. You know, I'm going to walk in here. Yeah. And I walked in not thinking that anything was going to happen. Like I'd make an appointment or something. Yeah. And they go like, I walk in, they go, Jon Reep. I'm like, oh, hey. What are you doing here? Well, I don't know. My shoulder's been bothering me. I just want to get an x-ray and see what it looks like. So I got an x-rayed. And they showed me the x-ray. And they said, you see this right here? That bone does not exist in the human body. You grew a new bone because you actually fractured your shoulder back then, but they didn't. It was a hairline fracture. So over the last 20-some years, your body grew a bone spur, and it looked like a Dorito chip. And so that's what was killing me. It hurt my shoulder. We had to do surgery, so I got surgery done.
Oh, and they took it out?
Yeah, they removed the bone spur. They cleaned out my rotator cuff and reattached some tendons. I mean, it was messed up. Yeah. Because my body had been adapting over the years, and it was all messed up. So
that's great.
But I feel good now.
Yeah, that's great. Who's the person you call when you have a bad day?
I don't really. Let's see here. My brother or my girlfriend Jody.
Older brother or younger?
Younger brother.
Younger brother.
Yeah. Or my buddy Mark, the guy from the Goodwill Hunting segment, Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt, you know how you have those friends who just, they'll always prefer to call you over texting you?
Yeah.
And it will frustrate me sometimes.
Yeah.
Because he has a knack for calling me when I'm trying to work on my phone.
Yeah.
Like I'm posting something, I've written out a nice long paragraph, and I'm about to hit send, and he's calling me. I'm like, ah! But he just likes to talk.
Yeah, I get it.
Mark is a good one, and Jody and my brother. Even though my brother is kind of a quiet type, it's just it's that brother connection.
Yeah. Wait, how'd you meet Jody back home?
Yeah.
That's great. What's the best party you've ever been to?
Best party I've been to. It's been a lot of parties. The best party I've been to was a lawn party in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hootie and the Blowfish played there before they got big. They had one or two hits. Hold My Hand was a big Hold My Hand.
Love Hootie.
But I didn't really know him. We didn't know him. But there was a fraternity called Delta Sigma Phi that had this legendary party. And it was in a big open field. They had the band, and it was like, all these drunk college kids would come and just get sloppy drunk. Yeah. It was kind of like a Woodstock for one day kind of thing. And I remember it was like 20 of us go together, and we were pre-gaming at my apartment. And we had so many coolers full of beer that we had to get a separate cab just for the coolers.
Oh, I love it.
So there's like 3
Love
cabs, four cabs.
Yeah.
3 of them are with humans, and then 1 is just all coolers following us. And we got there early. We got a good spot, and it was sloppy. It was great.
That's awesome. All right, let's wrap this up. We got to do a show. Thank you so much for doing this. 7:05. Plug all your stuff one more time where they can find you.
The easiest thing to do, and I'm on all the social medias like we were talking about. And my name is spelled JONREEP. Everything is Jon Reep. There's a blue check mark on everything. But if you go to johnreep.com, that'll take you everywhere.
Yeah.
And just click around there. I got a link to the podcast, tour dates, all kinds of stuff. johnreep.com.
So check out the podcast. Check out the tour. You're touring a bunch this 2020?
Yeah, from here I actually go home for Christmas, and then I'm doing a gig in Raleigh, Syracuse, Asheville, and it just goes on.
So he'll get near you, and I'm sure all CDs are on Spotify, all that.
Yeah, everything.
So
the Ginger Beard Man, there's a link to it on my website.
Yeah.
And,
so find it and support him. Thank you so much for doing this. We'll do one last question. If you could script your last words before you die, what would they be?
If I could script, so I'm about to die.
Yeah.
And I can say this, and people will know it forever.
Yeah. Well, they could. Whatever you.
Who am I saying it to?
Whatever you want. This is it.
All right. How do I script? I had a blast. Love you all. Bicycle.
Brandt Tobler trying to expand globally. Long curly hair and a beard, but he ain't Toby Keith. You might have thought it's beef, but we gon' handle that. Stealing jerseys off of the wall like fuck Vanderjack. Okay, he ran with that, and now he's on the loose. Put a little bit of poison in his Jamba Juice. Go ahead and drink on that, just take another sip. Need an appraisal? Shout out to Ron Huff and Dick. The kids loving this. I know you heard it, son. The purpose is perfect. Every person we learn something from. Go ahead and come along. We have a little fun. A few questions. How about 31?